Merry Christmas everyone, this is the most magical season of the year, so what better way to celebrate than showing you the most amazing moments the NFL has seen during the holidays. Going from a couple of record-breaking performances, all the way to games that potentially change the course of football history itself. If you end up enjoying this video, remember liking it and subscribing is always a great idea and very well appreciated. Anyways, let's waste no more time and travel back to December 25th of 2020. We had a Christmas Day matchup between the Vikings and Saints over in New Orleans. The locals wasted no time and scored the first touchdown of the day with a 40-yard run by Alvin Kamara, but the Vikings took nearly no time to reply as they tied the game up at 7. To cap off the first quarter, the Saints running back made sure to get his second touchdown of the day, giving the Saints a 7-point lead. The Vikings cut the deficit to 3, but Kamara once again found the end zone on a 5-yard run to head into halftime with a 24-14 score, New Orleans on top. The Vikings kept it close on the third quarter, but guess who scored yet another touchdown for the Saints? That's right, number 41 Alvin Kamara got his 4th touchdown of the day. That wasn't everything though, as he managed to get a 5th one later on, and then Taysom Hill scored. Yeah, kind of random, but hey, the tight end got a piece of the cake to get a 45-27 score. The Vikings put up points on the board one last time, and to cap off a brilliant Christmas day for him, Alvin Kamara proceeded to score his 6th touchdown of the night, tying the record for the most scores in a single game. And if that wasn't magical enough, take a look at the cleats Kamara was wearing that day. Yeah, he got fined for them, but it was totally worth it. I'm 100% sure he doesn't regret that at all, and at the end of the day, he still scored 6 touchdowns. Moving on, we travel back to Christmas Day of 2016. This time around, we had a divisional matchup with a lot of playoff implications. It's the Ravens visiting the Steelers in a matchup where Pittsburgh could clinch the AFC North title, while Baltimore could keep their playoff hopes alive. The Steelers started out strong, and after a touchdown, finished the first quarter with a 7-3 score. The second quarter, in classic AFC North fashion, was quite a defensive showdown, in which Baltimore was still able to put up 3 points in order to cut the deficit by just 1. 7-6 coming back from the break, and the Joe Flacco-led Ravens take no time to score their first touchdown of the game to get themselves up by 7. The Steelers are only able to reply with a field goal, and so the Ravens make the most out of the opportunity, starting out the fourth quarter leading 20-10 after back-to-back field goals. The Steelers still wanted that win badly, so they started the comeback by scoring a touchdown on the ground with Le'Veon Bell, 20-17, but Bell truly wanted to bring that win home, so he scored his second touchdown of the day to give the Steelers the lead once again. 24-20 with Pittsburgh ahead, Joe Flacco led what seemed to be a game-winning drive as Kyle Juszczyk got into the end zone with just over a minute left to go, but the Steelers had other plans. Roethlisberger and company marched down the field, and here's where the magical Christmas moment came. Second and goal from Baltimore's 4-yard line, Big Ben throws to Antonio Brown, who just about reaches for the end zone, scoring the game-winning touchdown. There were just 9 seconds left on the clock, so the Ravens weren't able to do anything, and the Steelers got the Christmas win with a final score of 31-27 thanks to the so-called immaculate extension. For the next moment, we'll go back to December 25 of 2011. It's another divisional matchup up north, but this time around in the NFC side of things, with the Chicago Bears paying a visit to the Green Bay Packers. The first quarter was quite a boring one, with the only score being a 2-yard touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to Jermichael Finley. The Bears replied with a field goal in the second quarter, but Rodgers orchestrated a beautiful 2-minute drive to put the Packers up 14-3 heading into halftime. Chicago started the second half way stronger than they did the first one, scoring their first touchdown of the day less than 5 minutes into the third quarter. But that was pretty much all they did in that period. Jordan Nelson proceeded to score a 55-yard touchdown to get the Packers up by 10, and from there on, it was all Green Bay. Rodgers scored his 4th touchdown of the game later in that same quarter, and just as the fourth quarter was taking place, with a 28-10 comfortable scoreboard, Aaron Rodgers decided it still wasn't enough and made sure to have a memorable Christmas moment. We were less than 10 seconds into the fourth quarter, and there goes number 12, scoring a 5th touchdown in what was a perfect game for him, blowing out the Bears at home in the process. Chicago would still score a couple more points to end the matchup 35-21, but with that amazing Rodgers performance, it was never even close. I mean, it was so good that to this day, it remains as one of the best quarterback performances in NFL history, especially talking about Christmas Day in particular. On to the next moment, once again we're going to December 25th of 2016, but this time around, it's not an AFC North matchup. No, we're heading over to Arrowhead, where the Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Denver Broncos on Christmas Day. The first quarter of the matchup was pretty much all Kansas. Alex Smith scored first, followed by a 70-yard touchdown run by Tyreek Hill. Yeah, the Broncos still were able to score a touchdown in 7-14 game, but the Chiefs quickly replied with a beautiful play by Travis Kelce on this 80-yard touchdown, which gave the Chiefs a very comfortable 21-7 lead. That was just the start for Travis Kelce, as he, spoiler alert, would go on to have one of the most memorable games for a tight end in NFL history. The second and third quarter were nearly as explosive as the previous two, with only a field goal being scored, but still, Kelce managed to keep those receiving numbers on the rise. Kansas City scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to terminate the blowout against Denver, finishing the game with a dominant score of 33-10. But that was not all the Christmas magic. Oh no. Travis Kelce managed to catch 11 passes for 160 yards and a touchdown in that game, which to this day stays as the record for the most receiving yards by a tight end in Christmas Day. Yeah, this may sound as a cherry-picking stat, but keep in mind getting over 100 yards is pretty hard. Now, getting 160 is completely insane, especially considering Kelce is a tight end. It's much harder being that position. And regardless of that, this performance now lives in NFL history as one of the best ones in Christmas Day. What a special moment during the 2016 holidays. Moving on, we actually go back to last year on Christmas Eve. This game wasn't even a particularly good one, featuring the Las Vegas Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. But the meaningful of this game was beyond football, as Steelers legend Franco Harris deceased just 4 days prior to the game, which coincidentally enough was the 50th anniversary of the team's most iconic play, the Immaculate Reception, which was actually possible thanks to Franco himself. Anyways, heading over into the game, it started out slowly for the locals as the visiting Raiders easily scored a touchdown and seemed to be in total control of the game, leading the way 7-0. Pittsburgh got on the board on the second quarter, but Las Vegas scored a field goal to head into halftime, still holding on to that 7-point lead, score being 10-3. The third quarter was quite boring if I'm being honest, as neither team scored a single point, but heading on to the last period, things got way more exciting. Chris Boswell kicked a field goal for the Steelers with just under 10 minutes left to go to cut the deficit by 4 and give his team a realistic chance at winning the matchup. The Steelers needed to win this legacy game for Harris for the Immaculate Reception, and so their Christmas prayers were listened, and Kenny Pickett got the ball one final time with just under 3 minutes left in regulation. He beautifully led the drive for Pittsburgh, and it culminated in a perfect pass to George Pickens with under a minute left to go in this football game. Steelers led 13-10, and Derek Carr threw an interception to seal the deal, and so officially the Steelers won this emotional matchup in the 50th anniversary of the greatest play in NFL history. All that while being for the just deceased Franco Harris on Christmas Eve. You really cannot make this up, it doesn't get more magical than that. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this holiday season, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas, and hopefully I'll get to see you on my next video.